Chikezagora is my name, 1995 graduating set. It all began in 1989 when we came into Futo. By then, joining the CASOR family was one of the right things for me to do, and I embraced it with every sense of purpose and responsibility. And by the time I got to second year, I was elected as the CASOR president, and a responsibility I held on to for another 2 years. And within this period, there are two leadership mindsets that sustained or shaped my leadership approach. They are the servant leadership mindset and the transformational leadership mindset. And each of these leadership mindsets manifested at different levels of my leadership. And they were in the things that helped us to be able to galvanize the fellowship, to subscribe into the fellowship, into the vision of the fellowship that we inherited from our founding fathers. And it was our intentionality in modeling a high standards of values, ethical and moral conduct. So this inspired followership, this inspired trust, this inspired respect. You know that nobody buys into your leadership or buys into the vision that you're casting as a leader without first of all buying into your person as a leader. And this was where we got it right. And we're able to inspire people to buy into the visions of our founding fathers. So for me, the leadership experience was so impactful that I will just summarize them under three headings: growth, learning, and development, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and otherwise. Nothing less and nothing more. Concerning the impact that my generation, in tandem with my leadership, created in the fellowship, was just simply with all sense of responsibility, I would say it has to do with the consolidated roadmap that encapsulated the system structures and strategies that triggered the growth trajectory for CASOR family. On a final note, and I want to say this, to all our existing CASORites in the campuses and to my contemporaries. In everything you're doing, please stay on purpose. Stay on purpose. Invest in yourself. Invest in your growth and development, because that is the only guarantee that tomorrow would be better. And I hope you get this. Thank you for your time.
Hello, good afternoon. I want to give this testimony to the glory of the Lord. My name is Sister Precious Urude, formerly known as Sister Rose Ure Omonaya, 1996 set, the First Sisters Coordinator. And I'm here to give God praise for His faithfulness for the past 25 years that I left Futo. I don't know how this minute will be enough for me to tell of His faithfulness, to talk about His goodness, to talk about His healings, His directions, His guidance. It's just too short. There's no way. But God has been faithful. While in school and out of school, by the grace of God, I have a loving husband and 4 children. I just want to give this specific testimony so that it will encourage somebody. I had a baby 2 years ago at the age of 47. And I remember in those days in Futo, I will always tell my sisters during the morning prayers for us to begin to comfort our children, comfort our husbands, and begin to pray for them, begin to bless them, begin to bless our home. Because one thing I know is if you have a happy home, you are closer to heaven. The easiest way to go to hell is to have a troubled home. So I was very, very mindful of that. And I ensured that we prayed concerning our homes, even before we got one. So last 2 years, God gave me a son. I wasn't happy, I wasn't excited at all, because my last baby was already 18 and was in college. But I call him Uchechi because God knows why this boy came. And since he came, he has become my source of inspiration and joy. And I look at him and I laugh. I said, God, there's no way you can beat God. God knows what you want. God knows how to bless His people. My coming to US is out of God's goodness. I didn't have to struggle like every other person. I must go to US. No, I didn't do anything. I just want the lotto. I was not even the one that applied for the lotto. Somebody applied for me and also applied for himself, but I was the one that won. God has been faithful. God has been faithful. I want to encourage somebody that God is mindful of you. God is interested in your affairs and in your business. Don't give up on God. because God will never give up on you. Maranatha. God bless you. Bye-bye.
My name is Adike Chukunenye. I graduated in 1997. We entered FUTO in 1991-92 session. I joined CASOR from day one. I didn't have any challenge joining CASOR because I looked forward to joining the fellowship. On the two on campus, I joined Brother Emerald, Brother Emeke Jogu, and Brother Nna to go for evangelism and follow up. Brother Jogu expressed surprise that a fresher is joining them. I said, yes, I'm already a member. In our time, we saw a drew inspiration from the brethren on campus, the foundation members that were now in the final year. We had Brother Aniche visit once in a while. We had Brother Godi and Brother Nna them and Brother Leo, Brother Okenwago them. They were inspiration. And then Brother Chikizia, where that was the president with his team, and then Brother Sam Ukiro, and co. So we drew inspiration from them. We saw an unmatched commitment from their side, doggedness, unmatched commitment to the things of God and to godly living. We saw sincere love and oneness among brethren in the fellowship, and it drew us to, also among those of us in our own generation, in our own set, to run with the same inspiration and zeal. In terms of the structures that I contributed in putting in place, when I was in year 2, Brethren chose me to be Bible study secretary in Bro Sam's A School, and by then the class that graduated in 1998 had come in by then in 1993, and they were more than half of the fellowship because it was a huge boom in fellowship number based on the work that all the brethren were together doing, and we needed to put in place some structure. So as Bible Study Secretary, we institutionalized the Foundation Bible School, where we equip upcoming brethren and new converts, to understand what CASOR is all about and prepare them for leadership. But then when I became president, also we had the fellowship growing. There were a lot of traction, growth was taking place, and we had to put in place structure that can handle those growths. We came up with the hall pastor arrangement, the hall representative. So we have the hall cell units, and that brethren meet in their halls of residence and have closer connection one to the other. So that brought about enhanced leadership. Apart from various wings, we had other leaders in the fellowship now apart from ESCO. So we institutionalized the JNCO level of leadership. Outside FUTO, my calling into executive position in CASOR Nigeria, first of all as the Eastern Zonal President and then member of the National ESCO, made me to get involved in setting up of sub-zones and organizing leadership trainings across the various sub-zones within the zone. In terms of my tenure being a long term, on record it seems as if it's a long term, but it's actually as a result of strikes that took place. So in terms of academic year, it's one academic session, but because of industrial action by ASU and some other politically occasioned strikes, we had intervals, a lot of intervals where we were at home, and then during that period, it looked as if our stay was extended, our tenure was extended. However, one session during that time we had to institute city fellowships So brethren in Aba will meet, brethren in Umuahia will have their time, to meet, to keep, the unity of the brethren in Enugu, brethren in Port Harcourt. We encourage those brethren in Lagos, and it was born out of circumstance to ensure that during those long timeouts of school, brethren keep the unity of fellowship. In terms of the greatest impact, we can say that one of the things we learned from the brethren was their commitment to godly living. It was not like a joke. It was sincere commitment to godly living and spiritual growth. We learned from that. And then we tried to, by way of discipline, by way of commitment to God, we tried as much as possible to consolidate on that and encourage the brethren that there's no other way than a young man keeping himself holy. And then we pursued it with every grace that God gave to us. So the fellowship in our time experienced growth, not because we did anything extraordinary on our side, but it was because grace was released to us from heaven. And I believe that it is the foundation of the work done by the foundation members and the brethren that took over from them, Brother Chike and Co, Brother Sam and Co, contributed to the grace that was released at the house of CASOR, and we ran with the grace. God bless you.
I decided to follow my friend Stella to one of their Tuesday fellowship. My goodness, the atmosphere was electric. I got hooked. I knew there was no going back for me. My generation, we wore our faith on our sleeves. It was in your face fanaticism. It was in your face, I am born again. It was in your face, I am CASORite. We were just like that. CASOR taught me life of service. CASOR taught me life of sacrifice. CASOR taught me to serve God with all I've got. And I'm grateful for that. It was a big training ground for me. Something unique about CASOR, it was the unity, it was the love, it was the vibrancy, it was the fervency for things of God. That was so unique about CASOR. This semester, Pastor Boso Ejindo, every man a beam. I learned effective time management in CASOR. It helped me to balance fellowship activities with my academics. I thank God we still came out with a good grade. No, I cannot change a thing, not a single thing. I love everything. I will still do the same thing if I find myself back in CASOR. Yeah, we're still here serving God, working with young people and mentoring young people, and God has been helping us.